In this video, we're going to be talking about vertex form, the vertex form of a quadratic equation. Now, this might look like, a bunch of baloney to you guys, but watch. What it says is y equals some number, and by the way, the number could be 1, so we don't even have to worry about that. But it's x take away another x value, basically. It's just going to be another x value plus k, which we're going to think of as y. So what we're saying is this is the x, this is the y, and this is the vertex. Whatever we come up with here is going to be the vertex. So let me give you an example. So if I say to you y equals 10 x minus 2 plus 5, the vertex of that is when I take this out of parentheses, this turns into positive 2, and this stays the same. The vertex is 2, 5. What makes this good is that when I'm graphing this thing, I can see at a glance 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that my vertex is right up here. It's going to be right up there somewhere. It also opens up positive. I know that it's going to open up like that. Now this 10 means it's going to be pretty skinny, but nevertheless, this tells me my vertex. And a lot of times, guys, you want to know what the vertex is. Let me give you another example. How about if we said this? Y equals, just plain x plus 5 squared minus 3. All right. Now, when I take that positive 5 out, it's going to turn into negative 5. This stays the same, negative 3. So that's my vertex. Let me just show you this real quick. If I put this in here, parentheses, I'm back in y equals. I'm going to be graphing this little equation real quick. So parentheses, x plus 5 parentheses, and then I do my little caret squared, and then the arrow, minus 3, okay? Now, when I graph that, I don't know if you can see this, but here's the vertex. The vertex is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5, and then it's down 3. So there's the vertex right there, negative 5, negative 3. All right, let's just do one more. But do you get the idea? Do you get the hang of it? Whatever that number is in the parentheses, remember we've talked about this all year, even with absolute value, with all kinds of graphs. Whenever there's a parentheses, you have to take it out of the parentheses and change the number, the sign of the number. You don't change the number, you change the sign of the number. All right, what if I would say y equals 5 times parentheses x, plus 1, and let's go minus 3. Okay, what's my vertex? Well, anybody know? Negative 1, negative 3. What does this 5 have to do with anything? It's going to mean that it's a steep graph. It's going to be steep. So let's graph it and see. All right, so I go to this. I'm going to clear this off. 5 parentheses x plus 1 parentheses, look what I forgot to do, squared. Forgot to put that, hello. And then minus 3. Now when we graph that thing, can you see how steep that graph is? And the vertex is over on negative 1, negative 3. So when you do put these things into vertex form, it really makes it pretty easy. The problem is, not all problems go in vertex form very easily. In order to put it into vertex form, we almost have to complete the square. You almost have to do that. So let me give you an example of one. Okay, if we have y equals x squared plus 6x plus 5. Now, you know what? I'm going to say plus 1. All right. Now, to complete the square, what do? I take half of this right here and I square it. So I'm going to have x squared plus 6x plus, now, half of 6 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 9, plus I've already got the 1, right? So I have to add the plus 9 on this side as well. All right, now I can say this. X plus 3 quantity squared, that's how I factor that. What times what equals 9? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. And then 3 plus 3 adds up to 6. But then I've got this plus 1, and then I've got this 9 over here. So I'm going to bring the 9 over, so it's going to be minus 9. So now y is going to equal x plus 3 quantity squared minus 8. All right, what's my vertex? -3, -8. That's my vertex. Because the vertex is showing right here. All right, so when I go back here and I say parentheses x plus 3 quantity squared minus 8, and I graph this, let's see what it looks like. Okay, my vertex is on -3, and then down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's my vertex, -3, -8. Normally speaking, in order to put it into vertex form, you have to complete the square. Now sometimes it's not very logical to do that. And when it's not logical to do it, I ain't gonna do it. Let me show you let me just show you a time when I'm not doing it. Well, I suppose I would do it if Mr. Mendez told me I had to, right? But it's like yucko. All right, so for example, if I would say this, if I would say y equals x squared plus 5x, plus something. Well, in order to put this in vertex form, I have to take half of this and then square it. Well, that's going to be 25/4. So I'm going to add 25/4 to this side. I'm going to add 25/4 to this side, and it's just yucko. You can do it, but I don't want to play that game. So I will tell you personally that I will try to only give you ones that are pretty straightforward when you're putting it into vertex form. But in order to get into vertex form, you do have to complete the square.